Every rider has looked over at a Harley-Davidson at some point and felt that pull, that deep rumble, the stance, the history behind the name. It is part of the American dream on two wheels. But what most riders never realize is how many Japanese machines quietly outperform those legends for half the money. Today we are counting down 10 Japanese machines that outperform comparable Harleys where it actually matters. Power, technology, and real-world ownership costs. And if you are shopping for a cruiser without knowing these bikes, you could end up paying thousands more for less motorcycle. Number 10, Honda Shadow Phantom. If you have ever looked at the price tag on a new cruiser and felt your excitement slowly turn into sticker shock, you are not alone. For many riders, the dream of owning a big American cruiser usually leads straight to one place, Harley-Davidson. The brand has built its reputation on style, sound, and heritage. But once the numbers start climbing well past what many riders want to spend, that dream can suddenly feel a lot less practical. That is exactly where the motorcycle at number 10 begins to make a very strong case for itself. The Honda Shadow Phantom proves that classic cruiser character does not have to come with a luxury-level price tag. At the heart of the Phantom sits a smooth 745 cubic centimeter, liquid-cooled V-twin engine designed for relaxed, dependable power. It is not trying to win drag races. Instead, it focuses on something far more important for real riders: steady torque, smooth cruising, and day-long comfort. But one feature quietly makes this bike far easier to live with than many cruisers in the same category. Instead of a chain or belt, the Phantom uses a shaft final drive. That means no messy chain cleaning, no constant adjustments, and far fewer parts wearing out over time. For riders who actually spend their weekends piling on miles instead of wrenching in the garage, that simple design can make a huge difference. Weight is another advantage. Tipping the scales at roughly 549 pounds fully fueled, the Phantom feels far less intimidating than many heavyweight cruisers. Combine that with its very low seat and relaxed riding position, and you get a machine that feels welcoming the moment you swing a leg over it. And then comes the price comparison. When placed beside the Harley-Davidson Iron 883, the numbers quickly start favoring the Honda. Even used examples of the Harley often cost close to what riders can pay for a much newer Phantom. Add Honda's long-standing reputation for engines that routinely run tens of thousands of miles with little drama, and the value becomes difficult to ignore. Now, if this is the kind of honest motorcycle breakdown you wish existed before you bought your last bike, hit that like button, drop a quick hype in the comments, and subscribe. That kind of support is exactly what keeps this channel committed to bringing riders real comparisons, real numbers, and the machines that actually deliver value. Here is the catch. While the Phantom is comfortable and reliable, it is not trying to dominate Harley in raw performance. Some riders want a cruiser that does not just match Harley's style, but actually outperforms it with sharper engineering and stronger acceleration. And that desire is exactly what brings us to the next step forward. A Japanese machine built on sport bike DNA that delivers cruiser comfort with a far more modern engine philosophy. Number 9, Kawasaki Vulcan S. At first glance, Kawasaki Vulcan S looks like a traditional middleweight cruiser, low seat, stretched tank, relaxed riding position. But under that familiar silhouette sits something you almost never see in this category: genuine sport bike DNA. Instead of relying on a slow revving air-cooled V-twin, Kawasaki equips the Vulcan S with a 649 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled parallel twin engine derived from the Kawasaki Ninja 650 and Kawasaki Z650 platforms. That engine produces roughly 61 horsepower and about 46 pound-feet of torque. Those figures might not look outrageous on paper, but the way the bike delivers its power tells a completely different story. The engine revs freely, pulls strongly through the middle of the range, and accelerates with an eagerness most traditional cruisers simply cannot match. Now compare that to one of its closest Harley alternatives, the Harley-Davidson Iron 883. The Iron 883 carries an 883 cubic centimeter air-cooled V-twin, producing about 49 horsepower and roughly 54 pound-feet of torque. It delivers that classic Harley rumble riders love, but it also weighs around 564 pounds fully fueled. The Vulcan S comes in much lighter at roughly 498 pounds. That difference transforms the riding experience. The Kawasaki feels quicker leaving stoplights, more responsive rolling onto the throttle, and far easier to maneuver in real-world traffic. Then comes the part that really turns heads. A brand new Vulcan S ABS typically lists a little above $7,000 in the United States, making it one of the most affordable modern cruisers you can buy today. Meanwhile, many used Iron 883 models still sell for thousands more, depending on condition and mileage. Kawasaki even adds an advantage Harley rarely offers at this level: the 𝐏𝐄𝐑 system. Dealers can adjust the seat, handlebars, and foot peg positions, so riders of different heights can dial in a comfortable riding setup right from the showroom floor. For riders who want cruiser attitude with sharper performance and smarter pricing, the Vulcan S quietly becomes one of the most compelling machines in the entire segment. But here is where the story gets interesting. We have already looked at two Japanese cruisers that challenge Harley's reputation. Have you ever ridden one of these bikes or owned a Harley you later compared it to? Drop your experience in the comments, because real rider stories tell the truth that spec sheets sometimes miss. Your insight might actually help someone else avoid buying the wrong bike. The Kawasaki Vulcan S already shows how Japanese engineering can challenge Harley's formula. Its ninja-derived engine gives it smoother power delivery and better efficiency than many traditional cruisers. Still, some riders feel the Vulcan S leans a little too far toward modern practicality. What if you want something that keeps the old-school American cruiser attitude, but still beats Harley on price and performance? That question naturally pushes the spotlight to the next machine, one designed to capture raw bobber style while quietly outperforming the Harley Sportster it competes against. Number 8. Yamaha Bolt. Now, if the last motorcycle challenged Harley-Davidson with modern engineering, this next one does something even more direct. It goes straight after Harley's styling, attitude, and urban cruiser territory, and it still costs thousands of dollars less. The Yamaha Bolt was created specifically to rival the famous Sportster family. From the moment you see it, the mission is obvious. Minimalist bodywork, a compact, muscular V-twin, a low stance, and that stripped-down bobber look that many riders instantly associate with classic American cruisers. But once you look beyond the styling, the numbers start telling a much more interesting story. At the center of the Bolt sits an air-cooled V-twin engine measuring 942 cubic centimeters. This power plant produces roughly 65 horsepower and about 59 pound-feet of torque. Those figures give the bike noticeably stronger punch than many entry-level Harley cruisers, especially when you factor in its manageable wet weight of about 542 pounds. Now consider one of its closest rivals, the Harley-Davidson Iron 883. That machine runs an 883 cubic centimeter V-twin, producing roughly 49 horsepower. So despite Harley's legendary badge, the Yamaha actually delivers more power and noticeably stronger mid-range acceleration. In everyday riding, whether you are leaving a stoplight or merging onto the highway, that extra performance is easy to feel. Then comes the price advantage. A brand new Yamaha Bolt typically lists for around $8,999 in the United States. Even with destination fees, many dealerships keep the out-the-door number close to $9,500 before taxes, and the used market makes the value even clearer. Recent models from 2022 through 2024 often sell between $7,200 and $8,200. Older versions from 2014 through 2017 frequently drop below $6,000. Meanwhile, clean, Harley-Davidson Iron 883 models often sell in the same range, sometimes even higher. In other words, many riders end up paying Harley prices for less horsepower. Add in Yamaha's reputation for durability, the smooth belt final drive, and a comfortable seat height of about 27 inches. And the Bolt becomes something special, a straightforward, reliable cruiser with real performance and lower ownership costs. The Yamaha Bolt proves you can have stripped-down bobber style, real V-twin torque, and a price thousands below a Harley Sportster. It is lighter, simpler, and brutally honest in the way it delivers power. But we are still only at number 8. And for some riders, the Bolt still plays it relatively safe. It wins on value and simplicity, yet it does not fully showcase how far Japanese cruisers can go in comfort and everyday usability compared to Harley's heavier platforms. That is exactly why attention shifts to the next machine in the lineup. A cruiser engineered to balance aggressive styling with smoother power delivery and real-world practicality. Number 7, Suzuki Boulevard M50. Earlier bikes on the list proved you could get cruiser style for far less money than a typical Harley-Davidson. But now the comparison becomes much more interesting, because the machines appearing from here on out are not simply budget alternatives. They begin competing directly in the very category Harley built its reputation on: mid-size V-twin cruisers with genuine highway strength. That is exactly where the Suzuki Boulevard M50 enters the picture. Underneath its aggressive styling sits an 805 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin engine that produces roughly 50 horsepower and about 47 pound-feet of torque. While many traditional cruisers still rely on air-cooled engines, Suzuki chose a liquid-cooled design that keeps temperatures more consistent during long rides and hot summer traffic. The result is smoother operation, better durability, and a bike that feels composed even after hours on the road. Styling also plays a major role in the M50's appeal. Instead of going for classic chrome nostalgia, Suzuki shaped this cruiser with a muscular, drag-inspired stance. Wide handlebars, a thick rear tire, and a long, low profile give the bike a presence that looks far larger than its engine size suggests. Now place it beside the Harley-Davidson Street Bob, and the price gap becomes impossible to ignore. The Street Bob carries a far larger engine, but it also brings a price that often climbs close to $20,000 once dealership fees enter the equation. Meanwhile, the Suzuki typically lands around half that amount, even before you start looking at the used market. And yet in everyday riding, the experience is surprisingly close. Both deliver relaxed ergonomics, strong low rev torque, and easy highway cruising. The Suzuki Boulevard M50 demonstrates how Japanese cruisers can deliver muscular styling and reliable V-twin performance without Harley's premium pricing. It is practical, durable, and far easier to maintain. But while the M50 is a strong value, some riders want something that stretches the cruiser formula even further. A bike with more displacement, more highway presence, and stronger long-distance capability while still undercutting Harley's price tag. That exact demand pushed manufacturers to create the next step up, a cruiser that expands the formula with bigger torque and more commanding road presence. Number 6, Kawasaki Vulcan 900 Custom. As this countdown moves closer to the top 5, the competition starts entering territory many riders believe belongs to Harley-Davidson alone. We are talking about mid-size big twin cruisers, the kind of motorcycles built for relaxed highway miles, deep exhaust rumble, and that classic long and low stance. And right here is where the Kawasaki Vulcan 900 Custom quietly proves something important. You do not need a premium American price tag to enjoy the full cruiser experience. At the heart of the Vulcan sits a 903 cubic centimeter liquid, cooled V-twin engine producing about 50 horsepower and roughly 58 pound-feet of torque. Unlike many traditional cruisers that still rely on air cooling, Kawasaki's liquid-cooled setup keeps temperatures stable and the engine running smoothly, even during long highway rides or slow-moving traffic. Fuel injection ensures crisp throttle response, while the belt final drive keeps maintenance simple and quiet compared with chain-driven systems. Now look at one of the Harley models that often attracts the same type of rider, the Harley-Davidson Sportster 1200. That bike uses a 1,202 cubic centimeter air-cooled V-twin producing about 67 pound-feet of torque. It delivers the unmistakable Harley sound, but historically it also carried a noticeably higher price. The Vulcan 900 Custom typically lists around $9,000 new in the United States, already undercutting many Harley cruisers in the segment. On the used market, clean examples frequently fall between roughly $4,500 and $8,000 depending on year and condition. Add in a low seat height around 26 inches, stretch cruiser ergonomics, and a stable highway feel, and the Vulcan becomes an easy bike to live with for thousands of miles. At this point, we are halfway through the list, and something interesting is happening. The deeper we go, the more obvious the performance gap becomes. So let us hear it from you. Which matters more when you are choosing a cruiser, raw engine performance, or long-term reliability? Tell us in the comments. Riders who have owned these machines often notice differences the industry does not like to talk about. And while you are there, tap that like button and subscribe. The Kawasaki Vulcan 900 Custom already makes Harley's entry-level Softail look overpriced. With its 900cc V-twin, belt drive, and comfortable ergonomics, it delivers the cruiser experience at nearly half the cost. But once riders taste that value, a bigger question appears. What if you want the same price advantage without sacrificing long-distance comfort or touring practicality? That question leads directly to the next machine, a cruiser built not just for weekend rides, but for serious highway miles. Number 5, Suzuki Boulevard C50. Up to this point, we have seen great value cruisers, but now the focus shifts toward motorcycles built for genuine long-distance comfort. For decades, many people have believed this territory belongs to Harley-Davidson alone. But the Suzuki Boulevard C50 quietly challenges that idea. Under the tank sits an 805 cubic centimeter liquid, cooled V-twin engine, producing about 50 horsepower and roughly 47 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers may not sound outrageous, but the character of the engine is exactly what cruiser riders appreciate. The torque arrives early, the throttle response stays smooth, and the bike settles into an easy rhythm that feels perfectly suited for relaxed highway travel. One feature that long-distance riders especially respect is the shaft drive. Instead of a chain that needs constant cleaning and adjustment, the C50 uses a fully enclosed shaft system. That means far less maintenance, fewer adjustments, and more time doing what riders actually want to do: put miles on the road. Now compare that with a Harley-Davidson Softail standard. The Harley carries serious big twin power, but it also carries a price tag that climbs well into the premium range once dealer fees are added. The Suzuki tells a very different story. In many cases, it costs nearly half as much while still delivering the classic cruiser stance riders expect. A low seat, wide handlebars, and a relaxed riding position make the bike feel welcoming the moment you climb aboard. Owners also praise the engine's durability, with many riders reporting tens of thousands of dependable miles with routine maintenance. So while it may not shout for attention, the Boulevard C50 earns respect where it matters most: comfort, reliability, and real-world value. Yet riders chasing the ultimate Harley alternative sometimes want something radically different, not just equal comfort, but shockingly higher performance than any traditional cruiser from Milwaukee. And that hunger for pure power sets the stage for the next machine, a Japanese icon that redefined what a muscle cruiser could be. Number 4, Yamaha V-Max. This machine does not simply compete with Harley, it rewrites the entire performance rulebook. The Yamaha V-Max was built with one mission in mind: unleash outrageous power in a cruiser-shaped package. Instead of the familiar V-twin layout used by most traditional cruisers, Yamaha engineered the V-Max around a massive 1,679 cubic centimeter liquid, cooled V4 engine. The results are staggering. The engine produces roughly 197 horsepower and about 123 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers move far beyond the cruiser category and land squarely in superbike territory. Independent tests have shown the V-Max launching from 0 to 60 miles per hour in roughly 2.5 seconds, a figure that still shocks riders the first time they experience it. Now consider a performance-focused Harley like the Harley-Davidson V-Rod Muscle. Its liquid-cooled Revolution engine delivers strong power for a cruiser, but the Yamaha still produces dramatically more horsepower and far stronger acceleration. Yet the story becomes even more surprising when price enters the discussion. The VMAX once sold new for far less than many large Harley performance cruisers, and on the used market it often costs about the same as a V-Rod, except the Yamaha delivers far greater power. Add ride-by-wire throttle, traction control, and powerful dual front brakes, and the VMAX feels like a muscle bike from another planet. But brute force is not everything. You may want a cruiser that combines strong power with modern electronics, lighter weight, and everyday usability, something that feels advanced rather than intimidating. That exact demand leads us to the next chapter in the countdown, where Japanese engineering takes cruiser technology to a completely new level. Number 3. Honda Rebel 1100. At the core of this bike is a 1,084 cubic centimeter liquid, cooled parallel twin engine, derived from the platform used in the Honda Africa Twin. In cruiser form, that engine produces roughly 86 horsepower and about 72 pound-feet of torque, giving the Rebel lively acceleration and strong pull throughout the rev range. Twist the throttle and the bike responds with a surge of power that feels far more energetic than many traditional cruisers. Now place it beside one of its closest American rivals, the Harley-Davidson Nightster. The Nightster is quick and modern by Harley standards, but the Rebel brings a few advantages that quickly stand out. One of the biggest is weight. With a fully fueled weight of roughly 487 pounds, the Honda feels lighter, easier to maneuver, and far more agile in city traffic or tight corners. Technology is where the Rebel truly separates itself. The bike features ride-by-wire throttle, selectable riding modes, traction control, wheelie control, and cruise control for long highway stretches. There is even an available dual-clutch automatic transmission that removes the need for a traditional clutch lever entirely, creating one of the most relaxed cruiser riding experiences on the market. Then comes the price comparison. Even well-equipped Rebel models typically land thousands of dollars below the Nightster once dealership costs are added. And that combination of modern performance, approachable handling, and real-world value is exactly why the Rebel earns a place in the top 3. It proves how far modern cruisers have evolved. With advanced ride modes, optional dual-clutch transmission, and a lightweight chassis, it delivers technology Harley rarely offers at this price point. Still, riders planning serious cross-country trips may want something even more substantial. A cruiser designed not just for city rides, but for long-distance touring with massive torque and full highway comfort. That need for big road capability shifts the focus to the next machine, one built to challenge Harley's most famous touring bikes. Number 2. Kawasaki Vulcan 1700 Vaquero. Now we have entered the world of full-size baggers, motorcycles designed to devour highway miles, carry real luggage, and keep riders comfortable from sunrise to sunset. For decades, this territory has been dominated by Harley-Davidson, but the Kawasaki Vulcan 1700 Vaquero proves that you do not have to spend luxury-level money to experience that same big twin touring lifestyle. At the heart of the Vaquero sits a massive 1,700 cubic centimeter liquid, cooled V-twin engine delivering roughly 108 pound-feet of torque. More importantly, that torque arrives low in the rev range where touring riders actually use it. The bike pulls strongly when merging onto the interstate, rolls past traffic with ease, and settles into a smooth rhythm once the road opens up. Kawasaki also equips the Vaquero with modern features that make long-distance riding easier. Electronic throttle control keeps power delivery precise, cruise control allows the rider to relax on extended highway stretches, and a 6-speed transmission with overdrive helps the engine lope comfortably at higher speeds. Now compare that to one of the most recognizable baggers on American roads, the Harley-Davidson Street Glide. The Street Glide offers strong performance from its Milwaukee 8 engine, but it also carries a far heavier financial commitment. A brand new model commonly starts well above $27,000 before options and dealer fees. The Vaquero, by contrast, typically lists around $20,000 in the United States, and many clean used examples sell for far less. Add in integrated hard saddlebags, a frame-mounted fairing that cuts wind on long rides, and a seat height under 30 inches, that keeps the big machine surprisingly manageable, and the value becomes impossible to ignore. For riders chasing that bold bagger presence without the enormous price tag, the Vaquero delivers the full touring experience. But even the Vaquero leaves one final question unanswered. That final question leads us to the next and ultimate machine on this list. But before we reveal the #1 Japanese motorcycle that completely dismantles Harley's value equation, quick question. Do you like this video? If you do, hit that like button. And if you want to support the channel even more, consider becoming a member. Members get early access to our newest videos before anyone else. All right, let us get to the machine that takes the top spot. #1, Yamaha Star Venture. By this point, it should already be clear that Japanese manufacturers know how to build excellent cruisers without demanding premium prices. Because this is not just a cruiser competing with entry-level Harley models. This is a full-scale luxury tour designed to challenge the biggest machines ever built by Harley-Davidson. Meet the Yamaha Star Venture. This motorcycle was engineered from the ground up for serious long-distance travel. At its heart sits a massive 1,854 cubic centimeter V-twin engine tuned to produce strong low-end torque. That kind of power makes highway passing effortless, even when carrying a passenger and fully loaded luggage. The Star Venture is also built for real touring comfort. A large front fairing provides excellent wind protection, the seat is wide and supportive for long days in the saddle, and integrated hard luggage gives riders plenty of storage for extended trips across the country. Technology plays a major role here as well. Many versions include cruise control, advanced infotainment, and premium audio systems designed for long highway journeys. And then there is the price comparison. Even well-equipped Star Venture models often cost thousands less than Harley touring machines, like the Harley-Davidson Road Glide or Harley-Davidson Street Glide, despite offering similar long-distance capability. Which brings us back to the point of this entire countdown. You do not have to spend Harley-level money to experience serious cruiser performance. In fact, sometimes the smarter choice is sitting right next door in a Japanese showroom. And before you go, there is another ride waiting for you. If this video made you rethink what belongs in your garage, click the next video and continue the road trip.